Food for thought. The grass is not always greener on the other side. It is super easy to see that North Star, to see the thing that you've always wanted and that you've wanted the most, same thing. That desire, that dream, and that goal. And you want it. And you want it so bad. And you get that goal. And you achieve it. But then where do you go then? Sometimes the best part is the journey. Sometimes looking so far ahead will kind of distract you from the journey that you're supposed to go through. That every single thing that you go through and that you do, and you persevere, and you determine yourself, or like you're determined enough to get through, you overlook that to get that goal. And that is super easy. I remember listening to a podcast, and it was about this guy. And he said, I was fine with getting the accomplishment. But what the true thing about it, or like the actual good part of it, and the valuable part of it, was the journey of doing it, of experiencing it, of every single thing to get to that climax. Because you've seen and like have heard of like Olympians, they get the gold and then they come home and there's a lot of things for them and they get the sponsor, I don't know where I was going, sponsorships. And then they're like, what do I do now? What do I do next? And sometimes the grass isn't always greener. And I was listening additionally to this podcast, and they said the grass is always greener on the other side because it's fake. And sometimes we have these set expectations of what that next step is gonna feel and what it's gonna be like. There's a difference between having an idea of what you want and then kind of putting up not expectations, if you want to call it like that. And I think that it is what you make of it. That the current perspective and the current journey that you are on is what you make of it. And it stinks. Because when you're in the thick of it, you don't know what to make of it. You really don't. And it's hard. And it is so hard to find that North Star of something that it will be better just to get through that bad moment. It is so hard. I was like getting like a coffee at like that cafe that I was close to with a friend, and I just like, I forget what she said, but she's like, into the thick of it. I'm so sick of it. Like it's like that TikTok sound. I don't know if you've heard of it, but like I think it's like from like Little Einsteins or something. I don't know. Or the Backyardigans. But I digress. It's really in that moment that you're like, I'm so sick of it. And I'm in the thick of it. But I just need to still persevere, learn how to have grit, and get through it. And it's hard. And it's so hard. And no one teaches you those skills because they can't transfer that skill to you. And that is sadly the only thing that you can, like, the only way to learn that skill of grit, determination, like motivating yourself, like all these like highly held skills and very honorable or like desirable skills is by doing it. Like it reminds me of consistency. like, this is just an example, it's not like applicable to everybody, but it's like going to the gym or being active at least once a day for like 30 minutes. And it's hard. It is so hard to be consistent when you don't want to do it, when you're tired, when you get off of work and you've worked one day. But then you remember your end goal and you get to that and you put on your shoes, you get your outfit on, you put on your shoes, you grab your snacks, you grab your water, and you go for a walk. Or you go to the gym. Or you do something active that you enjoy doing. And then after that 30 minutes or that hour or the duration that you go, you don't regret. You don't regret a single workout. I mean, yes, it might suck, and you don't really want to be there. But I don't think any time you can say that you regret a workout. And then, in that moment, you are honestly truly present when you are doing it. And you're like, yes, this stinks so bad. But then once you get over that hurdle, even when you even start for 10 minutes of walk and you can like barely walk or something, and then you build to 30, and you're like, wow, I've gone so far. But without that pain, I think it's so hard to appreciate that greener side, but then also realizing that there isn't always that greener side, and it's what you make of it. And it's like you make of it as much as you want or as little as you want when you walk. I'm just thinking of walking because I just walked like a few hours ago, but I digress. It's just from the perspective of trying to figure out balance. It's very hard to think about being present and trying to enjoy what you have now and not trying to look too forward. Because I think once you get it, it's like, what do I have? What do I have now? And sometimes when you work so hard to get that goal, you sacrifice so many things. Like you become very tight with your schedule. You become very time oriented. You set certain boundaries. And when you no longer need those boundaries because you've accomplished your goal, you kind of are like, well, what am I supposed to do now? And I think that transition between working your butt off to then accomplishing your goal is so hard. Because you as a human, you cannot go from 100 to 20. You literally cannot without going crazy. Because your mind and body are so used to working at such a high interval. And then all of a sudden you go down to 0 or 20 or a lower gauge or gear. Gear is what I'm looking for. And it's hard. It's hard to go between each interval because you are set so high and so regimented to get what you want, to achieve your goals. And to be able to give yourself grace between those transitions, between going from the really hard times to potentially getting to that greener side, and taking a moment and looking at that greener side and analyzing whether it's greener or not. And sometimes when you get to the other side, it appears to be greener, and it genuinely is greener. But then it's like, well, what do I do on this greener side? Because I'm so used to working and having just such a busy schedule. And that's where you need to give yourself grace. To be able to slow down and take deep breaths. Because taking deep breaths is how you're going to get through it. Like literally during my chem final, I was taking so many deep breaths. I'm like, because my brain was so fried. I was like an hour and a half in, and I was like, I'm almost done. And when you get to that point of getting to that greener side, sometimes you are done. Sometimes you're completely fried. And all that it takes is some deep breaths. All that it takes is just to give yourself grace, to make yourself okay, and to center yourself. Because you're very discombobulated to get to this point. And so you need to just center yourself and know that things are going to be fine. And then you just need to take a deep breath. Like literally like an hour ago, I was like 600 times just to like calm myself down. And it worked. And I'm definitely a lot more calmer. And I think it's very cliche, but I do think deep breaths help because it slows down your heart rate. It does something with your vagus nerve, I think. It's like more oxygen flowing and more blood flowing, and it's like you're not spinning around. So give yourself the grace to take a moment to be in that greater side. And sometimes it is, and sometimes it isn't when you get to that side. But that's okay. Because you're going to figure it out. You're going to have everything under control. And for the things that you don't have control over, you're just going to let it go. And let God, or let whoever you believe in, or let the universe, or just not take responsibility for it. Because you can't. Sometimes things are not for you. And sometimes things are. And what's meant for you is what's meant for you. And whether it's greener or whether it's not, everything will work out. Let me retry that. Everything will work out. Just trust yourself. Take as many deep breaths as you need. And you will just be fine on either the greener side or the less green side. Food for thought.